If you've been doing everything right for years, choosing milk for calcium, whole wheat for fiber, brown rice for nutrients, yet your labs keep whispering the same warning about rising creatinine, tonight's video is for you. I want you to imagine your body as a fortress. Every bite you take is either a brick that reinforces your walls or a false ally that slips through the gate and chips away from the inside. For older adults, especially anyone with reduced kidney function, some of the most trusted foods can quietly work against you because aging kidneys can't juggle minerals and acids the way they used to. The goal of this video is simple: help you spot the hidden saboteurs that can nudge creatinine higher and replace them with everyday foods that support your kidneys, your heart, and your energy. This is educational, not medical advice. Your situation is unique. So before you make big changes, talk with your clinician or a renal dietitian. Let's start where most of us were taught to start: milk. For people with healthy kidneys, dairy can be part of a balanced diet. But when filtration drops, each glass doesn't just deliver calcium. It also brings phosphorus and, depending on the product, a meaningful dose of potassium. Aging kidneys struggle to clear those minerals. Potassium that lingers in the bloodstream can disturb the heart's electrical rhythm. Excess phosphorus triggers a biochemical balancing act where your body pulls calcium out of bone to neutralize it. That's one reason bones become fragile in kidney disease. There's another twist. Phosphorus that occurs naturally in plants isn't very absorbable, but the phosphate salts added to processed foods and some store-bought dairy are absorbed almost completely, like leaving a side door unlocked. The practical move isn't panic, it's portion and product. For many seniors monitoring creatinine, limiting dairy to a small serving, think half a cup of milk or an ounce of a lower phosphorus cheese such as cream cheese, brie, or goat, keeps the pleasure without the mineral blast. If you like yogurt, go for plain. Check the label for phos additives and keep the portion modest. Next up is a sacred cow of the wellness world: brown over white, always and forever. That rule makes sense when your kidneys are perfectly healthy, but phosphorus changes the calculus. In general, whole grain bread and brown rice carry more phosphorus than their refined versions. That difference may look small on paper, but it accumulates slice by slice, bowl by bowl, and it absolutely matters when your kidneys are already negotiating every milligram. The smarter rule isn't always white or always brown. It's scan the label, watch the portion, and dodge additives. Become a detective in the bread aisle. If the ingredient list includes anything with phos, like sodium phosphate, pyrophosphate, hexametaphosphate, it's waving a red flag. If your provider wants you on a lower phosphorus pattern, keeping portions of higher phosphorus grains small, and choosing refined versions without additives, can lower the burden without making meals joyless. And remember, you can rebuild fiber with low-potassium vegetables, berries, chia, and psyllium as your clinician permits. Now to the usual suspect: red meat. You've heard cutback before, but the why is multifaceted. First, red meat brings a significant acid load that kidneys must buffer, forcing them into overtime and sapping your energy. Second, compounds in red meat feed gut bacteria that generate pro-inflammatory byproducts. Inflammation and kidneys are a terrible pairing. Third, red meat contains highly absorbable phosphorus, again, harder on filtration. The fix that consistently shows up in research isn't complicated. Substitution beats elimination. If you enjoy meat, keep the portion small and trade several weekly servings for alternatives such as fish, skinless poultry, eggs, or plant proteins your dietitian approves. That simple swap doesn't just trim acid and phosphorus, it brings in healthier fats that protect the heart, the organ that ultimately decides kidney outcomes. Marinate, slow cook, and season well so you don't feel deprived. This is a cuisine change, not a punishment. The fourth landmine hides where convenience lives: cans and packages. Canned soups, chilies, beans with salted liquid, instant noodles. These are salt mines masquerading as dinner. Sodium drags water with it, raises blood pressure, and over years creates micro-tears in the kidney's filters that don't heal. If a canned product is your only option, choose no salt added whenever you can. If not available, drain and rinse under running water to wash away a surprising amount of sodium. Get into the habit of flipping every label and aiming for less than 100 milligrams sodium per serving when possible. If the percentage daily value reads 5% on a standard 2,300 milligrams target, remember that many kidney patients are aiming around 1,500 milligrams, so that same 5% actually eats up closer to 7 to 8% of your day. The moment you cook a simple pot of soup at home with herbs, garlic, and olive oil, you'll realize how much flavor you can have with a fraction of the sodium. The last, healthy villain, is tricky because we've walked through the shadows. Now let's step into the light. The everyday foods that make kidney-friendly eating feel generous again. First, the humble chili pepper. I'm not talking about sodium-packed hot sauces or spicy fast food. I mean the vegetable itself, fresh red or green chilies diced into sautés and sauces. Chilies are naturally low in potassium, and their signature compound capsaicin supports a healthy inflammatory balance and may even have favorable effects on metabolism. Practically, chilies let you replace some tomato in a pasta sauce or stew without losing color and excitement. If your stomach is sensitive, start small. Half a cup chopped across a whole dish is plenty, and avoid pairing chilies with salty dips or processed fillings that undo the benefit. Second, meet the shapeshifter that brings comfort back to the table: cauliflower. Its superpower is what it lacks: low potassium, low phosphorus, low sodium by nature, so it plays well with kidneys at almost every stage. Steam and mash it with a touch of butter or olive oil and roasted garlic, and you've got a creamy side that scratches the mashed potato itch with a fraction of the potassium. Pulse it into rice to replace higher phosphorus grains in stir-fries. Blend it into a silky soup with leek and a splash of milk or unsweetened almond milk if allowed. Because it's mild, it takes on any flavor profile you crave: smoky paprika, lemon herb, or ginger. How do you pull this together without feeling like you're doing math at every meal? Think in swaps, rhythms, and plates. For breakfast, trade sugary cereals for steel-cut oats cooked with water, cinnamon, and a splash of milk or almond milk if permitted, topped with that half cup of berries and a sprinkle of chia. If potassium isn't restricted, add thin apple slices for crunch. If it is, keep to the berries. For lunch, build bowls: a base of white rice or cauliflower rice, a palm-sized portion of grilled chicken or fish, a cascade of sautéed low-potassium vegetables, a bright squeeze of lemon, and chopped chilies for energy. For dinner, cook from scratch 2 or 3 nights a week to slash hidden sodium: a pot of lentil and vegetable soup if your plan allows legumes, or a silky cauliflower leek soup finished with olive oil. Roast carrots and green beans with garlic. Serve a small portion of poultry, and keep red meat as an occasional accent rather than a centerpiece. If you love pasta, use a tomato plus pepper sauce to reduce potassium density per serving, and finish with a drizzle of olive oil and a dusting of Parmesan, rather than a heavy ladle of salty, jarred sauce. Let's talk about the grocery store, because that's where most wins happen. Make no salt added your default for canned tomatoes, beans, and vegetables. When that's unavailable, rinse thoroughly. Scan every ingredient list for phos. Those additives spike the phosphorus burden in a way your kidneys feel. Choose breads with short, simple ingredient lists, and keep portions measured. You can reconstruct fiber with vegetables and berries more safely. If you buy dairy, look for products without phosphate salts and keep serving small. Build flavor with herb blends, citrus, garlic, onion, and chilies instead of the salt shaker. And treat olive oil like the seasoning it is. Use it generously but thoughtfully, drizzled and tossed rather than burned. What about treats in social life? A kidney-friendly pattern isn't a glass cage. It's flexibility with foresight. If you know dinner out will be saltier, cook low sodium the rest of the day and drink water steadily. If a holiday includes a red meat entree, enjoy a small portion, savor it slowly, and fill the plate with low-potassium sides dressed in olive oil and herbs. If you're offered a fruit tray, choose the berries and apple slices and skip the melon and banana if potassium is a concern. And if you're living with diabetes as well, which is common, many of these same swaps help with blood sugar, so you're solving two problems with one set of habits. A quick word on labs because numbers tell stories. Creatinine is a proxy the lab uses to estimate filtration, eGFR. It rises for different reasons: dehydration, a very high protein day, certain medications, or genuine loss of kidney function. That's why patterns matter more than a single result. Hydrate evenly. Don't chug 2 liters at bedtime. Bring a simple food log to your next appointment. Your clinician will spot helpful tweaks quickly. If potassium creeps up, your team will decide if you need a stricter limit or medication like binders. Don't pre-restrict without guidance, because unnecessary restriction can starve you of nutrients and enjoyment. Before we close, let me give you a 1-week reset plan you can start gently and discuss with your care team. Day 1. Cook a low-sodium soup from scratch and portion leftovers for quick lunches. Day 2. Replace 1 red meat serving with fish and finish the plate with a lemon chili pepper salad. Day 3. Try mashed cauliflower with roast chicken and green beans. Day 4. Swap a high-potassium fruit for berries and drizzle salads with extra virgin olive oil. Day 5. Walk the store as a label detective. No salt-added cans. Breads without phos. Lower phosphorus cheeses. Day 6. Build a pasta night with a bell pepper forward sauce and a side of garlic roasted carrots. Day 7. Cook once, eat twice. A tray of roasted vegetables, a pot of rice or cauliflower rice, and a lean protein to mix and match. Through the week, aim for consistent sleep, steady hydration, and gentle movement. Kidneys love routines that are kind to the heart. Knowledge is not here to make you afraid of food. It's here to put your hands back on the wheel. Creatinine doesn't rise overnight, and it doesn't fall with a single miracle either. It responds to 1,000 small decisions. Less canned sodium, fewer phosphate additives, smarter proteins, bright chilies, comforting cauliflower, daily berries, and a golden ribbon of olive oil through your meals. Tell me in the comments which swap surprised you most, and which one you'll try first. If your last labs rattled you, you're not alone. Millions of older adults are navigating the same maze, and small, consistent changes make a real difference over months. Tap subscribe if you want practical, science-aware videos like this. And if you're unsure about your own kidney health, talk to your clinician and watch our next video on quiet early symptoms to catch and calm before they escalate. Stay informed, stay hopeful, and take good care of your kidneys by taking good care of your heart.